Hello everyone, welcome to another episode of TCG Talk, back today with another video. And in today's video, we're going to get back to our roots. We're going to go back to a little bit more of our ninja playstyle and kind of talk about my most recent Katsu, I guess, deck tech or just thoughts about the hero in general. Kind of go over what my game plan is going into the Proquest season and then the Calling Dallas. So we'll get right into it. If you're new to the channel, welcome. Thank you so much for stopping by. Hopefully you enjoy your stay. If you're a long-staying supporter, thank you so much as always. Feel free to check out the Patreon and the Discord down below. So, I've been off Katsu. Not off Katsu. I mean, I've been playing the hero like just for fun occasionally, but really I've been on other heroes. I've been playing a lot of the new Mechanologist stuff. I just recently played Azalea at a Realm Games in Louisiana. Didn't do as well as I wanted to do. And I've really just been bouncing a lot from hero to hero to hero. And I'm tired of losing. I'm really tired of it. I've been trying to have some fun with different heroes and do different things. But I kind of just want to go back to Katsu and just really hardline maining the hero. And the second thing is any success I've ever had competitively, like a couple top 8 of Proquest, nothing crazy, but anything I've ever had has been on Katsu. And it's because I know the hero. I know what's in my deck. I know exactly how to play, or pretty much exactly how to play in almost every single matchup that's relevant to it, and it's just where I feel most comfortable. So instead of trying a bunch of different heroes and going a bunch of different ways for Proquest season as well as the Calling Dallas, I'm just going to live or die by Katsu. So this is my first initial list. It's not like I just made this list. I've been playing around with this list for a couple weeks now, so this is a pretty tuned list, although I might make some minor changes here and there. So I'm going to go over it. This is what I'll be taking to Proquest season 100%, no changing, as well as the Calling Dallas. So it's a Breeze Rider Boots list. As you can see in the main board, we're running Breaking Skills, Breeze Rider Boots, and Mask of Momentum. Nothing too crazy here. Right now, there's 2 trains of thought for Katsu. You have the Snapdragon Scalers list with like Snatch and even bigger than that, and things of that nature. Or we have like the Breeze Rider Boots list with like a heavy bonds list. I'm more of the Breeze Rider Boots list. Both are very strong. I'm not saying one's better than the other. I just like the extra block, and I think Breeze Rider Boots now is on the same level as Snatched. When it comes to the headpiece, I'm running just Mask of Momentum. I'm not even running Mask of Pouncing Links in the sideboard. The way I like to play Katsu in every single matchup is Mask of Momentum based. Pouncing Links, now that Oldheim is left, I don't really see the point in as much anymore. Even in matchups like Icelander and Bravo, I'd rather force that interaction. I have ways around doing that with sequencing, so stick with Mask of Momentum. When we get into the list, so this is pretty traditional what you've been seeing most Katsus do. The only thing I don't have in the list is Art of War. I'm not going to go super in-depth in this video on why I don't run Art of War. There's a couple different reasons. I'm not saying Art of War is bad. There's been a lot of lists that have done good with the card. The card definitely has a place in the hero. It's just not the way that I like to play Katsu. I don't like a card that doesn't block, can't discard for Katsu, can't pitch for Kadachis, and Art of War is one of those cards that either can win you the game, like it can be in a perfect situation when Tunic's up or like out of Arsenal, or it is extremely powerful, but it also can completely brick your hand even after you use it. So I don't like that inconsistency. Katsu already can have consistency issues at times, so to be able to mitigate some of that inconsistency is really important for me. So that's why I don't have it in the list. But if someone in the comments said, like, I think Art of War's, should be in the list, and that's fine. That's not something I'm going to like argue heavily. But running 3 Ancestral Empowerment. For attack reactions, I'm running 3 Ancestral Empowerment and then 2 Razor Reflexes. Having Razor in the deck, I had it at a 1 of or even out of the deck at one point, and not having it in the deck is just crazy. It's so good in so many different ways. It's good on cards like Be Like Water, right? It forces a heavy block if they want to use it. It's really good at cards even like Descendant Gust Wave to force an on-hit. If you Kadachi in the Senate Gust Wave, and then, out of Arsenal, play like a Razor or something, and it forces your opponent to really play around it late game, or at least think to play around it, and can really change like late game scenarios, especially with opponents who don't know how many are left in your deck and it's not obvious. Maybe you've played 1 out and they don't know is there 2 left in your deck or there's 3. I like running 2 because they'll see 2 in my grave and they might start playing around it because there's 3. If people know my deck list, that's a little bit different, but if they don't know the deck list, then they have to play around that potential 3rd Razor. When it comes to Bonds of Ancestry and Descendant Gust Wave, I have played all around with these ratios. I've done 3 red bonds and 3 red descendants. I've done 3 red bonds and 1 yellow, and then 3 descendants, 1 yellow, and so on and so forth. And eventually I've came to doing a 3-2 method on both, I want to threaten the surging line pretty much every single turn. And so we have, 6 surging strikes. We have 3 ascendant gust waves, which we can see as a pseudo starter. That's why I have the 2 yellows in here. Being able to lead off with this when I have like a Bonds and Arsenal is really nice, because you can look at Descendant as a starter, especially in the early game. So I'm still playing around with these lists. If anything changes in the list, it will probably be like the ratios of this. But I think this is where I've fallen to be pretty happy with. The only thing I could see myself doing is maybe taking 1 yellow Descendant out. But overall, super happy with where the list is on that. And Lightning Strike, just super flexible card. Being able to play a 2-card 7, right? Being able to go again on a Kadachi, and then a Lightning Strike for 5, go again, forcing a 2-card block out of opponent if they want to stop Mask, all types of stuff. This card has a lot of flexibility. Flusterfist, this card's always played really well since, Breeze Rider Boots became more popular. Having these in the deck is really nice. What people sometimes forget is since Bondsman Ancestry reads, when this attacks, you may banish a card with combo from your graveyard. If you do, search your deck for a card with the same name, not same pitch, same name, banish it, then shuffle. You may play it this combat chain. So essentially, if you play out a blue Flusterfist, like I love playing out a blue Flusterfist turn 1, just to get a card with the name Flusterfist in my grave. That way, when I play Bonds, I can banish the blue Flusterfist to go get a red Flusterfist, because it just has to be the same name. So I love having 6 of those. 100 wins is pretty standard. Soulbeat Strike. So this is where Snatch used to be in the deck. I've played with Snatch and Soulbeat Strike. They're both very good. In a Breeze Rider Boots list, you could argue, even since I have 2 Razors, to run Snatch, and that's totally fine. I like Soulbeat because it allows me to Ancestral Empowerment. I can use Ancestral Empowerment on it. I also can use, it also has blocks for 3. And it hits that same break point that Snatch does. Again, the synergy with Snatch and Razor is really good, and I might end up going back to Snatch. I'm just playing around with the 3-block Soul Bead to have a little bit more flexibility, but this could easily go back to Snatch. Like I said, the 2 main things in this list that are up for testing debate are Soul Bead Strike for Snatch, and then maybe like 1 less Descendant. 6 Surging Strike, this is a must. I want to threaten this every turn. The way to beat Lexi is you threaten the Surging Strike line every single turn. That's the best way to do it. And so you want to have as much opportunity as possible. Having 3 Be Like Wires and 6 Surging Strikes, you basically have 9 potential threats to start that line, and it becomes really consistent when you do that. 6 Whelming Gust Waves, again, just fueling the Surging Strike game plan. As you can see, 3, 6, 9, 12, 15, 18, 20, 22 of my slots are dedicated to like the pseudo surging line. 25, 28 if you count Dishonor and Be Like Water. So literally half the deck is around that. And then for my blues, Crane Dance have some synergy with Soul Beat Strike. We don't need Lord of Wind. I'm not running McGinty in this list, just because the only deck I see that can fatigue me is Arachne, and right now that deck's not real unless you get like someone that's just really practiced with it and does really well and goes into a big tournament. The likelihood of you running into Arachne in a big tournament isn't as high. And the other deck that I think can fatigue you somewhat consistently is Bravo. Right now, I think Bravo could do it. Uziri technically can, but I think in that matchup, both of you are doing on-hit effects and like just going at your tempo that it really doesn't go fatigue, but it could, but not very often. So we're not running Lord of Wind, but running Crane Dance to synergize with Soul Beat Strike. Dishonor, obviously, to synergize with the Surging Strike line, and then Winds of Eternity to synergize with 100 wins. So we're at 15 blues total in the main board. So that's a 54-card main board. In the sideboard, I'm basically only teching for Dromai and Lexi. Dromai, Lexi, and then obviously just some like cool tech pieces. I'm not doing a lot of tech for Icelander. I kind of picked 2 out of 3 of the matchups that I want to tech for, because you can't tech for all of them unless you changed out Warmonger's Diplomacy. We'll talk about that in a minute. So if I'm playing against a Lexi, I'll put in Flick Flax and Command and Conquer. Flick Flack is really good with Lexi. You block their first Bolton shot. Most of the time they don't reload or any of their first arrow for 4, and then be able to block their second arrow for 5 off a 2-card hand. Really, really nice value. And then Command and Conquer for obvious reasons against Lexi. Against Dromai, I'm boarding in Double Strike and then Flick Flack usually, or Double Strike in Warmongers, because Warmongers is really nice into them. It does decent work with them overall, but really Double Strike's the main Dromai tech to be able to get rid of dragons at an even more efficient rate, Ether Ash Wings, be able to trigger mask without committing as much damage resources as you want. So that's super nice. Bravo, I have reinforced the line. Bravo is being more and more prominent, so I actually have 2 reinforced lines along with Sinks and Flick Flacks for Bravo. I actually feel pretty good in a Bravo. If he high rolls, he high rolls. Like, there's not much you can do about it. But as long as they're not insanely high rolling, having these cards in there really allows you, and even Warmonger's Diplomacy, I'll usually swap out Crane Dance for Warmonger's Diplomacy into Bravo because it prevents them from dominating. If they choose War, they can't activate Bravo. So I usually, in the Bravo matchup, swap Warmongers in for Crane, and then I just hedge in these 8 cards that help me combat their crush effects and go from there. Icelander's the one I'm not really teching for. I'm not going to lie. I have thought about putting in 1 less Warmonger's Diplomacy and like 1 less Sink for 2 energy potions, which that might become a thought process. The reason I don't have it in here initially is because our local meta in Dallas doesn't have a lot of Icelander, at least not from my knowledge. And I'm going to wait to see how, like, what the meta is kind of looking like going into the Calling Dallas. If they're going into the Calling Dallas, it looks like there's a lot of Icelander, then I'll probably switch out one of these and one of these for 2 energy potions. But until that happens, like, I'm really just teching for Dromai, Lexi, and then a little bit of Bravo. But yeah. And then we have Lantern Flippers for Arcane against Ice, against Rune Blades in general, Vincent and Viscerai. If we run into them, we're just going to run Tide Flippers. If we run into a Wizard, we'll run AB2. Tunics for Icelander as well. Really, I'm running Heart and Cross Trap and pretty much everything that's not Wizard. It's just too good in this list to be able to get these off for free. Even in the Lexi matchup, get a Command and Conquer off for free is really, really nice. If you had to block out and send a 6-power Command and Conquer if you're trying to keep tempo or at least hold tempo even by making them give up 2 cards from hand. So overall, this is where the list is right now. I'm really enjoying it. There are some minor things to go over and tweak and mess and change with, but this is the list I'm going to be on for the next month plus going, once the Calling Dallas is done. It's only a couple weeks, but Proquest season in the Calling Dallas. So yeah, super excited for it. Really just getting back to the deck I should have been playing when it comes to competitive. Katsu's in a really good spot right now. I think Katsu's honestly in like the tier 2. I think tier 1 is Jeremiah and Lexi, and I honestly think Katsu's in the tier 2 alongside like Dash and Azalea and Icelander. So I think he's in a good spot and well positioned to have a good showing. And he's been having consistent top 8s in some recent events. So hopefully we can get him over the top here at Proquest season and Dallas. But yeah, let me know what you think of the list. It's definitely, there's a couple minor changes I think some people are going to be like wanting to talk about. One is the Soul Beach Strike instead of Snatch. And then another one might be the amount of yellow bonds and descendants. So I'd love to hear your feedback on that, what some people think. But yeah. Thank you all so much for tuning into this. I'll be giving y'all updates. I'll be doing gameplays with this as well. I'm going to record some videos of me doing this. I normally don't record gameplays because I just like to play the game. I don't like to focus on having to record and stop it and all this other stuff. But what I may just do is hit the record button and kind of let it go while I'm playing a few games and then go back in the recording and do like a second recording, me talking about it instead of me talking through it as I'm playing. I don't want to be doing that, especially in testing. So yeah. Let me know what you think of the video. If you like this, please leave a like, comment, subscribe. If not me, it's totally fine. Go to our Flesh and Bug creator, leave a like, comment, and subscribe on their stuff so we can get more people seeing this game. And yeah, hopefully I can give you all good updates as the ProQuest season goes along. But thank you all so much, and I'll see y'all next time.